Hello, welcome back to the Board Games 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video we're going to be talking about the granddaddy of area control games. We're going to be talking about Grande, and this is a game where you'll be playing cards from your hand. You'll be moving your caballeros around the board. You'll be trying to avoid or maybe be in the same region as the king. Also, you'll be trying to drop your caballeros into the tower to score some cheeky victory points on the sly. And in this video, we're going to be giving you a very, very brief overview of the rules. We're going to be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and then we will come back and we'll tell you whether or not Grande is still worth playing 23 years after it was first released in 1996. So if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to our channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you after this. Board Games 4K. So, Grande, how'd you play this game? So Grande, this is one of the very first area control games, and in this game what you'll be doing, you'll be given a hand of these power cards that range from 1 to 13, and what you'll be doing, you'll be given a region card, and that will dictate to you where you're going to place your grande. And your grande is your big boss dude who's going to whip into shape all your caballeros, and you're going to take 10 caballeros from your supply and put them in front of you, and you're going to dump your grande in the region on your region card. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to choose one of your power cards to play, and each power card has got a number on it, and it's also got a number of caballeros on it, and what you'll be able to move that number of caballeros from the province to your court. And what that means is you'll be basically taking them from the general supply and putting them in front of you, ready for when you play an action card, and then you'll be able to put them on a board. And this determines turn order. What you'll do, whoever played the highest number power card gets to have first pick of these lovely, juicy action cards. So the next thing that you'll do is you'll choose one of the face-up action cards from the tableau in front of you, and each one of these action cards has got a number of caballeros on the back. First thing you'll do is you'll look at the number of caballeros on the card that you've chosen, and you'll move them from your court or in front of you onto the board. So when you're placing caballeros onto the board, you can place them in any region adjacent to the king figure, or you can stick them in the MDF Castillo. Right? So once you're done moving your caballeros onto the board, then you will execute the special action that is on the action card that you chose earlier in the round, right? So some of the special actions that you can do, you can move 3 cubes belonging to other players on the board to other regions or into the Castillo. You can move your grande, but you can't dump him into the Castillo. You can force other players to send 3 cubes back to the province, or you can play the veto card, which will allow you to prevent or interrupt one special action this turn, but it doesn't prevent players from adding cubes from their court. Or you can play the king card, which will allow you to move the king. So in the rulebook, it tells us that the Castillo has got special properties. Throughout the course of the game, you'll be dumping the caballeros into the Castillo, and these will be revealed during one of the scoring phases, right? And the scoring phases, they always come after rounds 3, 6, and 9, because this game lasts over 9 rounds. So this is sort of advantageous to you to keep track of who's putting what in the Castillo, because they will give you extra points. There's a special scoring phase for the Castillo. So during one of the scoring phases, what you'll do, you'll take your secret disc. It's not actually a secret, it's just a disc, but you'll be selecting one of these regions in secret, and you'll then score the Castillo. You open up the Castillo, and whoever's got the most caballeros in the Castillo will get 5 victory points. The person with the second highest will get 3 victory points, and the person with third highest number will get 1 victory point. And then what you'll do after that, you'll move the caballeros from the Castillo to the selected region that you chose with your secret disc, and then you'll score the regions on the board in order in the same fashion that you scored the Castillo. So you have 9 rounds, there'll be 3 scoring phases, and remember, when you score the king region, the player with the most caballeros in the Mr. Hanky region will get an extra 2 victory points, and when you score your home region, whoever's home region it is will get 2 bonus victory points, but sadly those victory points are lost if there's a tie. So you go through the 9 rounds, you have 3 scoring phases, and then the game's over. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game is the winner of El Grande. So what do we like about El Grande? So the first thing that we really like about El Grande is it's one of them games that is over before you know it. It's one of them games that even though there's 9 rounds, there's only 3 scoring phases, so it's over very, very quickly. It's one of them games where you feel like you're just starting to get into your stride and then the game's over. So it takes a few plays of this game to sort of learn the time constraints and to adapt your strategy accordingly. And there's a little bit of randomness in this, which is just enough randomness in this to make this exciting game. You know, you've got the randomness of the way the action cards come out, and you've got the randomness of trying to prejudge which power cards the other players are going to play. And sometimes it's in your interests to play a high power card early, but then that means that you will have to wait and see which of these action cards get played first and which way they come out. So the random nature of the action cards and the way these come out is key to developing a strategy at key points during the games, namely rounds 3, 6 and 9. So the second thing that we really like about El Grande is this thing. It's the Castillo, and it might be made of MDF, and you might sort of mess about with it and pretend it's a telescope or like one of those old people ear things, or maybe like a megaphone or something like that. We do like this, the surprise element of this. It keeps you on your toes. It's one of them things, it's almost like a distraction where you're sort of forced to try and remember what's going into the Castillo. And that can, at the same time, sort of aid you in getting victory points when you can remember correctly, but it also might be sort of detrimental. If you've got one part of your brain trying to remember what's inside this thing, then you're going to be sort of thinking about the wrong thing at the wrong time, maybe. And it requires quite a bit of mental juggling to sort of accurately remember what people have put inside this Castillo. And it's a lot more difficult to do that in a 5-player game. When you're playing a 3 or 4-player game, it's a little bit more simple to do that. But we really do like the fact that the Castillo adds that sort of sense of mystique and a sort of a memory game as well. So yeah, it's a wonderful thing, this Castillo, and we like the fact that it looks like somebody's gone to German B&Q and just knocked one up in their downstairs toilet. So another thing that we really like about this is the way that this pawn thing, the king, has been implemented in this game. And this is one of the key instruments in developing a really good strategy for this, because you've got to keep track of where you think the king is going to be placed next. And the thing is, when you're doing the scoring, when you're doing the general scoring in this game, you're only going to score the regions that are adjacent to the king. So it's in your interests to utilise card number 5, action card number 5, as often as possible. But in doing that, you're going to be neglecting the other really important cards, action cards that are available to you. So if you're trying to manipulate the king, you're not going to be able to get your caballeros on the board. You're not going to be able to move them around. You're not going to get your grande into the most strategic and advantageous positions that you need to. So there's a really nice toss-up with this king, is that he's sort of, in a way, he's your friend, but he's also your foe. So that we really like the way the king is instrumental, and the fact that it looks like one of those sort of toy turds that you used to get from a joke shop when you were a kid. So yeah. So the first thing that we don't really like about El Grande is the way that it hasn't actually sort of been updated over the years. It's 23 years old now, 1996, so 23 years old. 23 years old, I think. Yeah, 23 years old. And it's got a big box edition in the last couple of years, but it still looks very dated. And we couldn't get the English version, so we picked up the German version. We done some paste ups and stuff. And it's nice wooden components. Like you got the wooden poo here, but the components, I mean, the artwork on it is very, very drab and very boring. And these things, it just looks really out of date. And okay, they might have updated the MDF to some kind of like plywood in the big box version, but this, I don't know, it just seems a little bit dated. But maybe that's part of its charm. I don't know. But yeah, the board the colours on the board look really sort of dated. I know they're trying to go for that old sort of Makita map type thing that's going on, that sort of vibe. But yeah, it needs to be maybe it needs a second edition done in the right way, not like just fancy miniatures and like crap. Because these cubes, whilst they're very, very basic, they do the job very, very well. So yeah, a second edition update might be appropriate. So the second thing that we don't really like about El Grande is the way that the board can end up quite chaotic towards the end of the game. You know, when you're getting into the sort of 7th round or maybe in the 6th round, the board can end up being very clogged up, and it's very difficult to read it in an efficient manner. So whilst on the one hand it's a very, very simple game to pick up and play, on the other hand it can get slightly messy. Right. So the final thing we're going to talk about with regards to what we don't like about El Grande is the fact that the regions all score differently, and that's maybe seems a little bit unfair. If you're randomly given a region with decent scoring, everyone's going to be making a beeline for that region, and whilst you might score 2 victory points extra for that being your home region, if you've got a region that hasn't got such attractive scoring in it, then people are going to be going for other regions, right? So it's sort of almost, in a sense, what it does, it lays out the regions which are going to be most lucrative at the beginning of the game. And maybe it might have been better to have these scores sort of randomised, maybe, so that you get a little bit more replayability out of the box. So to summarise, is El Grande still worth playing in 2019? So of course we're going to recommend El Grande. It's one of the Granddaddy area control games. It's one of the best area control games that you can get your hands on today. Okay, it's not got the flash or the pizzazz of games like Kemet or Rise and Sun or Blood Rage or any of those sort of modern CMON type miniature-esque games, but this one peels away the fluff and the candy coating to reveal a very, very simple yet strategic and tactically diverse game. And we love El Grande. It's one of our favourite games. We can't recommend it highly enough. As with all games, it's got its flaws. You know, it's got that sort of predetermined scoring on the board, which we think could have been randomised if you wanted to. So you could have had both on the board. You could have had it printed on the board, and you could have had overlay tiles that you could have put on there. We really like the way the king alters the game, and that you've got sort of a little bit of take that with the king. So you're only going to score regions which are adjacent to this thing, and it's in your interest to sort of choose when you're going to move it and if you're going to move it. We also like the added surprise of revealing what's inside the castle. Is always fun. And we really like this game. And if you want a basic but still a really meaty game to get your teeth into, then you can't go far wrong with El Grande. And in a sense, it's probably worth playing this before you get stuck into those more elaborate board games like Rise and Sun and that. So this will give you a taste of a bygone era, but it will also give you something that the other games, the other modern games, can't give you. That is a very, very stripped down experience, and that's what we really like about El Grande, and that's why it's still in print to this day, and it will probably, hopefully, still be in print in many years to come. So that's El Grande, and if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to our channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you next time.